Hey, what's going on, you creeps? It's Joshua from the Based on True Events podcast, and I want to take a second to talk about Anchor. Now, if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. I know I could probably stop right there, but I won't. So there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Basically, nobody listens to you. It don't matter. You can still make that money. That's exactly right. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free app or go to anchor.fm to get started today.
Back at it again.
Again. What's going on, man?
Shit.
We're just telling a story at the end of the day.
You can enjoy a fully clothed, totally platonic cuddle session. Not sure what we're doing.
Are these lines safe? Yeah, we can literally say anything we want.
Talk mad shit.
Please continue to follow us. You can find us on all social medias.
All social medias.
All social medias.
All podcasts.
Everywhere that you could listen to a podcast, we're pretty much there.
So what's up?
God damn it. Just ate. I'm fat right now. We just had, we celebrated Chinese New Year with the family, so we went to a restaurant and had hot pot, which is, I don't know if you know what the fuck hot pot is. I mean,
I know what hot pockets are. Am I?
You're close.
Am I close?
Not even. But yeah. Basically, you've got a big ass boiling
bowl of stewish.
Well, yeah, it's flavored water. They put a bunch of seasoning and shit in it, and it's usually spicy or not spicy, and then they give you this massive mound of uncooked. It's like Chinese melting pot, but way better. Okay. Like, you know, that shitty restaurant, the melting pot? Yeah. So you've got pork and fish and...
I mean, honestly, the melting pot's not that bad of a place, but it's good if you go for dessert.
Yeah, I was going to say, so I like the concept, but I don't think the food's very good.
I don't like cooking my own food.
Well, not at that price.
Yeah.
So not that price.
So the wife and I, we went out on Friday night, actually, also.
Oh, shit.
And, dude, I was so pissed off. Like...
Where'd you go?
We went to, well, I don't want to shit on this restaurant. Like, I don't want to give them their name and shit on them completely. Yeah. Like, the company was amazing. Like, we had great company. But the restaurant, like, for the price that we paid, I'm going to give them a shout out again. Bourbons on Frankfurt. I would have much rather spent the money at their establishment than...
Is that the Bourbon's Bistro?
Bourbon's Bistro.
Yeah, that's some good shit.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I mean, it helps, I guess, that, you know, I know the cooks and I know the head chef there. I know, you know, who's sous chef. And so not that we get preferential treatment. It's just I know the product that I'm going to get on the other end. Whereas, like, the food that we got at this place was okay. Yeah. I mean... justifiably, like, our bill was like $175, and I don't drink, so if that puts it in perspective.
No, that should be a good ass meal.
Yeah. Now the wife does. The wife still drinks, but I mean, she wasn't like going for the numbers. She wasn't like.
Did you crush a bottle? Did she crush a bottle solo?
No, she had like a martini and a glass of wine.
Okay,
so,
right.
But
God, it's amazing how much cheaper going out is. But when you don't add alcohol.
I'll tell you what, man. I could have probably overlooked the food, but it was our server, man. Our server sucked,
shit. Oh, man.
I mean, it wasn't that we didn't get things or that, you know, this and that. It was that we were obviously sitting down with another couple, and we were there to chill and talk. And, dude, she had no fucking, like, no give a shit for that. She was up in our face, like... We were like,
let's go.
She goes, okay, can I get you guys started with an appetizer? And then we were like, all right, like, we haven't really looked. She comes back like maybe 2 minutes later. And that's me being like,
yeah. Fuck.
And she's like, oh, have you guys decided on an appetizer? And so we're like, all right, look, we'll get these 2 appetizers. And then so she goes and rings in the appetizer, and she comes back and she's like, you ready to order?
Like, and
we're like, look, we haven't looked at any of this. She comes back 5 more times in the span of 10 minutes. So it's like every 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And finally we're like, look, we'll order. And like, so if it had something to do with, putting money in the check, she was there, like in our face, kind of like pushing us to order and do things.
Yeah.
But like my friend, like her water glass was empty for half the meal.
Shit, where are you at now that we need some fucking refills?
Dude,
I've had to tell people, and I hate that. And I guess that's not even being picky though. No, I was going to say because we've been in the industry, we know, we're expecting. No, dude, that's just common sense, but common courtesy. But I've had to tell people, hey, we're going to literally chill, so I'll wave at you.
Yeah,
I'll holler.
Well, but the other thing is like the ticket price alone of our table. Like, she's going to make between $75 and $100 off a 4-top.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Like, get the fuck out of my face.
Yeah, no shit.
I'm sorry, $100, and you don't really have to do shit. Like, we know exactly what we're going to get and how we're going to get it.
We're going to make this real easy on
It's going to be one of the easiest tables that you can deal with. And, like, finally, like, I mean, she could tell, like, I was fucking fed up.
Oh, really?
Because she was trying to, like, make playful banter with me when I was ordering my food, and I was just like, I just kind of like nodded at her and was like, just.
I'm not the one.
Yeah. I was like, you burned up all your currency with me, kiddo. So,
That's
it's just me. Maybe it's, but it's one of those things, like, learn to read your table, dude.
Dude. I mean, that's exactly right. And that it's common sense, man. Like, you don't have to be fucking really good. You don't have to have a ton of experience at being a server or whatever. Like, just fucking use a little bit of common sense and common courtesy. If you see people that are in the middle of a conversation having a good time, maybe kind of wait for a sign. You know, wait for your in or whatever. Fucking back off.
Like, maybe, like, if you notice that we haven't even picked the menus up off the table, maybe that's something to sell you, like, hey, they're not ready to go.
Right.
And I mean, it's not like we were like splitting meals and doing all that shit. Like, we got 2 appetizers. My wife and I both got the most expensive steaks on the menu. Like, we both got salads. Everybody else at the table ordered drinks except for me. Like, we all got desserts. Like, it was a huge ticket for a 4-top, and she's just like pushing the whole time. So
those are the people you just let chill. Like, that's like a fuck yes, this is an awesome table.
This is the table.
This is the one.
That table for us, when I was a server, that was like the table I begged for.
Oh yeah, that's the table where you're like, oh shit, sweet. Now I can go out and spend all the money I'm about to make on that table tonight. I can afford it.
I can afford it
off of one table.
And I know that, like, all right, so there's kind of an unspoken rule in the restaurant industry. Like, the lower the steak temperature, the better the tip.
The better the right.
So you've got 3 people, or you have. All right, my wife's the only one that orders it at her steak at medium.
Ooh.
So that's medium
on the verge of annoying.
To me, is well done.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure. Yeah.
Medium is well done. So I get mine extra rare. Our friend Julie, who was at the table, gets hers rare. Her husband Billy gets his medium rare, and then my wife gets hers medium. And I'm like, just going on the food temperature right there is like, oh shit, this is 20% at least.
Yeah, if they order a steak and say well done and ask for ketchup, you're fucked.
Yeah,
you could speed up that table.
Yeah, and I'm just like, in my mind, like 20% is like a low tip.
Yeah,
if she had left us alone and let us move at our own pace, and I'm not saying like fuck off and disappear.
No, yeah.
But like, you just read the table. Had she read the table better, she would have made more money off of us.
Yeah, but that is kind of a curse though. Being in the industry, even if they suck, you still tip 20%.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's like, wow, fuck. I hate giving you this money, but I can't not.
Yeah, it's like, fuck, man. Dude, I don't know how many times in my life that I'm like, I shouldn't fucking tip this much, and I still, like, it's at least 20%.
Oh, no shit.
So but yeah, man, it's, I think it's being this age and some experience in the restaurant industry that I guess makes me more critical of the service aspect of things.
I was going to say, and I don't think you're being like overly bitchy or overly demanding. That's just fucking, Come on.
I don't know, but I digress. This serious like first world problem that I'm complaining about.
Our life is so hard. I know. Well, shit, I didn't have an awesome steak, but I tell you, the hot pot was pretty fantastic. So, I'm fat as fuck. You kind of jumped into your story, but basically, I'm fat as fuck. So I'm really happy that you're going first, and I can kind of sit here and digest. And
so I do have some questions. Was it a restaurant? You said?
Yeah.
Okay, so like
it was like a big ass Jade something. So when we first went there like years ago, I was like not high hopes because I walked in and there was a buffet, and I go, okay, hold up.
Yeah.
But they have an authentic Chinese menu. So we gave it a shot, and it was like, oh shit, if you order off of the authentic menu, it's fantastic. We've never had a buffet.
I'm not a buffet dude.
They're sketchy, dude.
Yeah.
I'm very skeptical of not only Chinese buffets, but buffets in general, I think.
Yeah,
I don't do Golden Corrals or whatever and all that shit.
I'm not ethnically biased with my buffet.
Okay.
Like
me neither.
It is a strict zero buffet policy. Yeah.
The good thing is that buffet, it was packed. So I was like, well, at least it's kind of fresh. It's keep going, but we still don't. I don't fuck with it.
Yeah, I don't.
We don't. My wife does not do American Chinese food. Like there's no General Tso or anything, whatever.
Yeah.
Sweet and sour, nothing. So the fact that it has an authentic menu, though, that's why we go. So it was dope.
So it got your wife's seal of approval.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Well, we took the whole family. It's always funny when we go. We do this every year, and technically it's not our gig, but they always ask us to go, and it's Chinese New Year, so every year it's kind of we go, and then I'm not really bitching, but it's hilarious because they stop and they're like, hey, you guys, what should we order? And then it turns into this whole thing where it's like my wife like fucking translates and talks to the server in Chinese, and then it's like, God damn it. But it ends up being cool because we can order whatever the fuck we want.
I wonder how much shit your wife talks to the server like about your family. Like
these fucking idiots.
Yeah.
And yeah. I know some, but yeah, there's a lot of there that I'm just going on faith.
Yeah,
like,
just like
sounds good. They're smiling.
Yeah, you bet they are smiling.
And the food was good. So,
well, that's legit though, man.
Yeah, it was cool. Well, Louisville's actually got 2 or 3 like really good authentic Chinese joints, but it definitely kind of
hit or miss.
Well, yeah, and like one's got a table of like room for maybe 6 tables. Like it's a hole in the wall. Like. When we go to China, we don't go to the nice restaurants. Like I want the dirtiest local fucking hole in the wall because that's going to be the best food. So, standards are a little bit different.
Yeah.
There's no A ratings on the fucking buildings.
Yeah, I would imagine.
You know what I mean?
It's like, oh no, I just know that this guy like makes the best this.
Yeah. And in China, I don't give a shit what it is if it tastes good. I'm like, fair enough. And I didn't get sick. I'm good.
Yeah. No, I'm very much that way. Even here, if somebody's like, no, this is the shit. I'm like, okay. And like,
I'll try it.
I'll give it a shot. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, actually, not totally. Well, not off the subject, but funny story that happened this evening. So. I always get a little, I guess protective is the word, when anybody starts talking about something in China that's kind of
borderline offensive.
Or what's the word I'm looking for?
Sensitive subject.
Well, that's fair. Yeah, it's not the right word. But and so of course this virus that's going on. So we sit down and immediately they kind of go, and there's some family members that we don't see all the time, and so they ask Shan, they're like, so, is your family okay?
Yeah.
And everything, and I'm like, it was just genuinely nice, like that was totally cool, but I'm just kind of like going, oh God, please, oh God, like I don't know them that well, and I'm like, oh God, please don't fucking say anything like that's gonna be offensive, and I'm always like on edge when people talk about China to my wife for some reason, but honestly, it's a weird ass virus, and it's kind of freaky, but she's like, well, my family, no, like they're cool, like nobody's worried about it, and it's like, yeah, they ate a bad bat, apparently.
Yeah.
Is what it came.
Well,
and so I was just like, oh God, please God, no. And then luckily it didn't go the way that I thought it was going to go. So.
Right. Well, what's funny is I have I have a video server or whatever that we kind of get movies off of or whatever, but we pay for them. It's we don't
kind of movies
bootleg
are we talking about?
like, well, I mean, like movies that are still like pretty new, or it's like
called BitTorrent.
Well, no, it's like Netflix, but you buy the movies.
Right. They're like the in the theaters movies and
but
shit.
But one of the suggestions that popped up was Contagion. It was like on sale, and I was like, is this just because of the fucking news? Like,
right.
You assholes.
Well, okay, so I mean, to be fair, that's probably why I get nervous, because it's coming. Any information that we have is from the fucking TV or from news source, and it's it's going to be somewhat biased.
Yeah,
it is what it is. But well, there's a documentary like already like really fast on Netflix. It looks like it's about some sort of pathogen, or I don't know. I don't know if it's directly talking about the. I don't even know how to say it. Coronavirus. Yeah. Coronavirus. Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
anyway,
I try to take all that stuff in with a measure of, not to just run to panic mode immediately and be like, all right, like, let's calm the fuck down.
Yeah, well, I asked my wife. I was like, hey, is your family cool? Like, is there any need of concern? Like, should we be worried? And she's like, no, like. It's not a big fucking deal. China's huge.
Yeah. No, bro.
Shit. Well, damn.
Yeah.
How do we get on that fucking want topic? My bad.
No, you're good.
I thought it would be an entertaining little tidbit about my evening, but
well, I mean, it was entertaining.
Oh, fair enough. No, I was fucking worried. That I guess anyway.
Well, I can understand that. Like, it's like, okay, don't do anything stupid. Like,
well, it's just dude, and it's like it happens all the time. I think something fell. It happens all the time at work because we don't have shit made in America and everything's made in China. I think I've bitched about this before, and people come in and they'll be like, "I don't want that made in China bullshit," and I'm like, "Well, unlike my wife, not everything that comes from China is wonderful. You're right." And then they start feeling bad immediately, and I'm like, "Fuck off!" I was like, "Okay, this is the American-made product. How much is it? It's this much. I ain't paying that much fucking money." And I'm like, of course you're not.
Yeah.
Jackass, your Chinese fucking shoes walked your ass in here.
Yeah. Dude, it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
It's, a lot of people want the guise of Made in America.
Right.
Without
paying for
any of the things that go into that.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Shit, if I can support Made in America, that's awesome.
No,
but
it's
it's not realistic to bitch about it, though.
I completely agree. But I'm also one of those people that, like, dude, I want the good shit. Like, I want, like, if it's Made in America, but it's a piece of shit, then I don't want it.
I don't want it either.
Right, but it's also like I'm balling on a budget. So, you gotta
balling on a budget.
Like,
I like that.
I gotta, like, keep it,
reasonable.
Yeah, no
so,
shit. It's you kind of do that dance of,
fuck
what have you. So
well, shit.
I guess we better get into it.
Let's get into it, man. Hopefully,
we burn 2 hours.
Yeah, true. Bitch fest.
So I had this week.
Yeah, you're up.
A listener suggestion, and this is our most suggested episode.
It is. Oh, hey, before we get into that, before you jump to there, thank you for suggesting and for interacting with us. Let's go ahead and give them the plug. You can find us if you haven't done a suggestion.
Yes.
We started bitching and everything. We forgot to tell them where to fucking find us.
Yeah.
Who the hell we are. Based on True Events Podcast.
On your social media platforms, Instagram and Facebook.
All of them. On Twitter, the Twatter, you can get us at Podcast BOTE, Podcast BOTE.
Yeah. Or if you do not take part in the social media aspect of discussion or anything like that, and you still want to contact us,
email us at
Based on True Events Podcast at gmail.com.
Gmizzle.
And you can send your questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, your well wishes.
Yeah. Or I mean, it could be good and bad. Just communicate. That's my biggest thing. We love the interaction, and we've been getting a lot of it lately. So thank you, and keep that shit coming. Yeah. It's a ton of fun.
So we get as February is here now. We are we've got one in the boat, so to speak, for the I Wrote for Boat.
That's right.
T-shirt.
So this month we're going to choose a new one.
Yeah,
we're going to choose a new winner for the I Wrote for Boat t-shirt. Send us your suggestions. We'll pick our favorite.
And then we're doing the field trip episode.
That's right. You choose it. We go it. We go.
We go.
Yeah, we go to there. I want to go to there.
Yeah, so check out our social media pages, and you can vote on there to tell us where you'd like to see.
Yes, send us to either the Hannah House, Waverly Hills, the Whispers Estate. We always fuck that one up. Whispers Estate.
I don't
fuck
it up.
Anyway, or the Punderson Manor. Hannah House, Waverly, Whispers, or the Punderson Manor. That's right. And we're going to go there and do an episode. You choose and we go.
You choose, we go.
That's it. All right. Sorry to interrupt you, bro.
No, I'm glad you did, because we would have just motored
We wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, we would have just motored right through that.
So let's roll.
So back to the most requested listener episode.
Is this the top by far?
This is by far the top episode we've had requested.
Awesome.
So this is Herman Webster Mudgett, a.k.a. H.H. Holmes.
Homie.
So,
it's weird that he was the top.
He is the
most...
the devil in the White City.
Yeah. Is that a nickname for him?
Yeah, that is a. I
didn't know if you just made that shit up or.
No, that's a moniker.
Right.
So H.H. Holmes is kind of, I think, the reason that he gets the nostalgia that he does is because he's considered America's first serial killer, and we've had this conversation a few times. So the FBI defines a serial killer as a person who murders more than 3 people over the course of more than 3 months. So between murders, there's a cooling off period, and another murder occurs, and in a similar fashion or ritualistic way.
Okay, so yeah, that's the official.
That is the FBI stance
stance
on serial killer.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of said we had this discussion. You said it kind of needs to be ritualistic of some sort. I didn't know the number was 3 or more. I
think they're just like. I mean,
that makes sense. I mean,
well, I think it has to have. I think the real key to it is the cooling off period, because the idea
between.
Yeah, in between. So. Like, you could kill 3 people in a mad rage. That doesn't really make you a serial killer.
Right.
It can make you a mass murderer, but it's the cooling off period that you take time between each murder.
Well, it's methodical then, or
it makes it almost a serial.
Yeah, got it.
A series of. So that
all right.
Word. So this guy is kind of considered the first of the serial killers.
The first one. That's right.
In America. By the way, the FBI also lists the United States as having anywhere between 25 and 50 active serial killers at any given time.
Wow.
It is the highest per capita of serial killers in the world, any country. Yes, and
damn, 25 to 50?
We might not have started this motherfucking gangster shit, we definitely took it to the next level.
We stepped it up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yay!
Yeah.
Go us.
Really.
Wow, that's so 25 to 50. Jesus.
Yeah. Okay, so interesting subject of H.H. Holmes is that he was only ever convicted of 1 murder.
Wow.
The police later found out that they can pin 9 murders to him.
Okay, I was going to say now
and he confessed to 27.
Right. So the last lovely gentleman that I did, Mr. Albert Fish, I had told you I was getting Fish and Holmes confused. I was switching them up. But yeah, so I thought Holmes had 27. I thought it was multiple people, but so he only got convicted.
He only got convicted of 1.
Admitted to.
He
didn't they find bone? Well, sorry, you're gonna
get
into it.
I'm gonna tell the story.
I'm gonna shut up.
Okay, so 9 confirmed, 27 confessed, and suspected to kill over 200. Okay, so I'll paint you the picture. If you don't know who H.H. Holmes is, he was a serial killer in the Chicagoland area.
Chi-Town again, right?
Yeah, he's back in Chi-Town.
God.
He was born in 1861. and he perished in 1896. Okay. He is also the person who is responsible for the murder castle of Chicago.
The murder castle, right. Wasn't it a hotel or like a...
Yeah. So I guess the way I'm going to tell this story is I'm going to tell you like the mystique of H.H. Holmes. And then we'll kind of work from there.
All right. I'll try to hold my question. Sorry. I already got a bunch
You're
of
good.
them,
So if anybody who's quick on the math, he died 5 days before his 35th birthday. 35th birthday.
96, is that what you said?
Yeah. 1896.
Yeah.
So the story goes as H.H. Holmes was kind of a petty shyster and con man in kind of the Midwest, St. Louis, Chicago, Indiana, those areas.
We've had a lot of con men and women and people from Chicago, dude.
Yeah,
that's
that
like
area, that little pocket of those states and that time period, that bred a lot of. I think it probably has to do with like the disenfranchisement of, people escaping Europe to have a better life, and you take in a lot of people, you're probably taking in some rougher characters as well.
Some ruffians.
So anyway, he's kind of known as like a con man, a shyster. He kind of starts in insurance fraud. That lovely chestnut that we've dealt with so often.
God.
So the idea that his kind of legend is built on this murder castle. Mm-hmm. Okay. So the idea of the murder castle is that he had rooms that had piping that was it was a 3-story, what he called a hotel. It had multiple rooms, that each room was kind of built as its own murder shack.
Right.
All the rooms were soundproofed. The walls were supposedly built with steel and iron so that you couldn't claw your way out.
Wow, yeah.
There were secret passageways and tunnels. There was an asphyxiation room. There was
you crank gas in there or some shit.
Yeah, there was a hanging room. Each room was supposedly dedicated to a different implement of torture and
different
pain.
way to die or something.
There were hallways that led nowhere. There were doors that didn't open into rooms. There were rooms that only had secret passageways and secret entrances that you couldn't find the door easily.
A real life haunted house.
Yeah, basically the idea being that once you got into the hotel, it was very difficult for you to get out or to find your way out or to run out. They said when they were pulling after H.H. Holmes was arrested, they exhumed over hundreds and hundreds of bodies out of the basement.
Damn.
And this guy was fairly prevalent throughout St. Louis and Indiana and Illinois, and the idea being that some of his illicit,
like he moved around, like he lived in those places.
Well, before he was arrested, he was married to 3 different women in 3 different places. He had multiple children.
Oh, Lord.
It said that in his early life that he mutilated and tortured various animals, just slaughtered, animals by the
That's
the
a
score.
reoccurring thing, man. If you see your child murdering animals, guess what?
And there's at least some argument as to the fact that he could have possibly been Jack the Ripper in London.
No shit.
Yeah.
I never heard that.
There was some discussion. It was kind of the same time period.
Huh.
And there was a period of H.H. Holmes's life where he studied to be a surgeon. So all possible. So
interesting.
Now that is the legend.
Right.
Of H.H. Holmes. Now we're going to talk about the real story.
Okay.
Okay.
Who this motherfucker really is?
Who this motherfucker really is. All right. So and
I had never heard Jack the Ripper before. I heard a lot of this shit.
Okay, so I really didn't. This is a popular story, man, and this was a very highly requested episode, and I was kind of torn on how to go about this next part.
Do what you do.
I'm gonna shred it a little bit.
Shit, okay.
Okay, so the real story behind H.H. Holmes is he's a fucking con man. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Wow.
He there's one story that he took over this pharmacy by killing the owners and, you know, basically just like signed the deed over to himself. And the idea is that's all bullshit. Like he bought the place. Like that just is what it is. There now is the very real thing about the murder castle.
Yeah.
Is he had a lot of trouble securing contractors of reputable skill, and there were many things that were done incorrectly in the building of the fucking.
They're like, this room doesn't go anywhere. The dude sucked at his job.
They're like, just put a fucking door up, man. This thing's supposed to be 80 rooms. Like, just put a fucking door there, and it didn't really lead anywhere.
Get the fuck out.
So this guy stole bicycles and sold them, stole furniture off of trucks, and the idea was that he had all these rooms and these weird hallways and things like that to confuse people if they came to like repossess shit.
Wow.
And you know. So the first person that he actually, I mean, they did nail this guy down as like, I mean, he murdered people,
right,
for sure, and they confirmed like 9 people that they're like, okay, man, he killed these people.
Okay, right.
So the first one is he got into a relationship, and remember the pharmacy I was telling you about,
the one that he bought.
The one that he bought. There was an assistant manager basically that had a wife and a kid, and they ended up moving into his hotel. He strikes up a relationship with the wife,
the lady,
and the husband leaves because it's a boss, it's the owner, you know. He wins that argument. He definitely kills her and her daughter. They actually, when they did exhume a certain amount of skeletal remains out of the basement,
down in the basement, right?
Yeah. The 6-year-old daughter her skeleton was found. In his confession, he said that the mother died in a failed abortion attempt that he was trying to complete, and then there's at least
he was trying to do himself.
Yeah, he was supposedly trained in surgery. Okay.
Oh, right.
So
I took a class at the community college,
and there was another woman that was there that he said died the same way. And then he didn't feel like going through the paperwork and the bullshit, so he hid the body in the basement.
Didn't he have like a furnace where he would like cremate people?
Yeah.
Or is that one of those stories?
Supposedly that they found this later on down the road.
Okay.
I'll get to that part of the story.
Maybe.
So the wife of that assistant manager and her daughter were they were confirmed, and he ended up, this asshole, he fucking rents the room out with all their stuff still inside of it, and like supposedly
he rented the room
that still had their shit in there.
Oh my god.
And just kind of like nonchalantly, like he was seen kicking one of the baby dolls under the bed.
Don't worry about that there.
Yeah, he's like, oh, just don't pay attention. It's okay.
God.
It comes fully furnished, kind of thing.
Furnished.
Yeah. So,
oh, Jesus.
One of the rumors had been that he was collecting victims out of the World's Fair who would come to Chicago to see the World's Fair.
Because there's like thousands of people that were there at one time or whatever.
There is absolutely no credible evidence that anyone visiting the World Fair even stayed at his hotel. Also, he didn't stay.
They really focused on that whole part of the story too. Yeah. I remember reading that.
He didn't even stay at his hotel. The only time that he even visited his own hotel during the entire time that the World Fair was going on was to basically there was a fire on the third floor, which many think was an insurance scam that he was running at the time.
He didn't even live there?
He didn't even live there. He lived in another property. Like I said, at this time, he had 2 different wives and multiple, two different families going on at the same time.
Right.
So...
away on a lot of business trips.
Yeah. Lots. So the real deal about this guy is what gets him into trouble. This is the murder that he's convicted of. Is, let me find this guy's name, Benjamin Peitzel, something like that. So this guy was like kind of ran with H.H. Holmes, and kind of they did like various insurance fraudy things together.
With them.
Yeah. So they come up with this plan where they're gonna find a cadaver and they're gonna burn the body. And the way that they're gonna do this is they're gonna have a fake widow get the insurance money for the dead body, and then they're going to split the money. That's the plan on paper.
Who are they?
Benjamin and H.H. Holmes, Mr. Peitzel.
So they're looking for a dead body. They're looking for a cadaver.
Well, yeah. The idea was they were going to get a cadaver, burn it, and then pass it off as Peitzel.
Okay, I got it. Fake his death.
Okay, and then they're going to split the money.
Oh shit. Okay.
So
that backfired.
H.H. Holmes, who has supposedly had connections in the medical field, basically convinces this guy Ben that he can pull this off, and instead he's like, it's easier to just kill this guy,
right?
And so he drugs him and then lights him on fire.
Oh shit!
It just burns him.
Oh my god!
Yeah. So this is how he gets caught. The insurance company questions the claim and comes in, and they're like, no, dude. Well, the other part of this is...
He did it in the hotel?
Yeah.
In the murder, whatever.
Well, okay, so the other part of this is...
Oh, my God.
So at the before the insurance company comes in and says, like, this is bullshit, Ben actually had a wife and kids who knew about this was going on.
About the plan to fake his own death?
Yeah. And knew that this was going to happen.
He told the family, so don't be worried when I show, or when you hear about my dead.
Well, so they come questioning Holmes.
You
right?
think?
And Holmes is like, well, he's laying low. So we got, like, if you want to see him, we got to go see him, but we got to do, like, got to go through all this cloak and dagger bullshit.
We got to go down to the basement.
So he ends up, like, he takes the kids and separates them from the mom. And they do this big shell game where they go to, like, 5 different states. And they're, like, going all around the place, like, all around the United States. At some time, like... Sometimes they were staying in the same cities. Sometimes they were staying even in the same hotels. But the children were, separated from the mom. Right. He ends up killing the mom and 3 of the kids. The story where you were talking about with they found the 6-year-old son's teeth and some skeletal remains in one of the. Basically one of the places that they stayed in the stove.
In the stove or whatever, in the fire pit.
Right.
So he was having them run that was a really elaborate plan to kill him. I mean, that was the whole, okay.
The reason that there's some confusion over how many people he actually killed versus, what he actually did get. He would admit to murders that he didn't really commit, and then he would deny murders that they know he committed.
Oh, right. Weird.
So I did one of the things I found interesting is because
he'd get less time or some shit. Why the fuck would he do that,
dude? He was really just trying to confuse the narrative.
Oh, right.
That's kind of like his MO the entire time. Was he
smart guy?
Well, everybody kind of. Chose to look at this guy as kind of, I really think this was the way that he was portrayed in the media was that he they said he wouldn't look people in the eye. He wasn't very competent in the like he wasn't good at talking to people. He wasn't good at doing social aspects of life. But the reality of the fact is, all this stuff I said about him as a child murdering animals and stuff, his mom was like, no, he had 3 dogs when he was a kid. He loved animals.
Oh, they just fucking made it
he had a
story,
a physical ailment of he had a weak muscle in his left eye, and it would make his eye drift.
Oh, God.
And so he would kind of not make eye contact with people,
just my lazy eye,
because he didn't want that. But he married 3 different women at the same time. Like, he had the gift of gab, and he would talk people in circles. That's how he got away with his insurance fraud, and that's how he got away with a lot of things.
I don't think you can be a successful serial killer and not have that skill. You know what I mean?
Right. So
wow.
So the idea that
the media fucked it. Like,
so the idea,
hyped it all up.
The idea that he is the devil in the White City is really considered, for that time period, one of the grand tall tales of American media.
Wow.
Okay. If you really think about it, around that time period, bad guys were kind of popular. You had your Billy the Kids, your Jesse James. You had these outlaw types.
Yeah, right.
Where, and it's just like now, man. Murder sells.
They
blood
make
sells.
great stories.
Just like you were talking about with the coronavirus.
Yeah, man.
People get scared and they fucking sit in their house and they watch the news and they fucking listen and hear and
start believing everything.
Believe everything. There's billions of people dying from this right now. And so the idea that the body count and the malicious nature of things,
killing the animals,
all these things, these were stories sown by the newspapers to sell more copies. And there was like the room where I was telling you, that was like the hanging room.
They nailed it,
right? That room was considered the hanging room because they found a rope in the room. That's it. That is it.
It's a rope. It's a noose.
They found
it wasn't even like tied in a fucking
no, they found certain things in rooms, so that's why they said that it was, and really there's a certain amount of the murder castle and its design was just flawed from poor construction.
So that, when you told me that was fucking hilarious, first of all, because I did do a little bit of research on this, and again I was getting them mixed up, but they have like photos. If you Google, this guy and images, or even if you just research a little bit, there's photos of the, I'm using quotes, the murder castle or whatever, and the mazes and the like they were supposed to be this basement of torture and whatever, this torture basement, and then there was the storefront side, and then there was the hotel above, and it was all plotted and planned and super like badass, and I was like, oh god, it's all horse shit because they sucked at their job.
And meanwhile, one of the more interesting things is that building was later turned into a post office. So I mean, that's interesting.
Wow.
In my opinion, one thing I was gonna say that I did find interesting is because of gaps in local law enforcement, and the fact that this dude was all over the Midwest and really, like, I mean, at times he was in like Boston and fucking New York and shit. Wow. They actually used the railroad detectives, the Pinkertons, or who ended up catching.
Pinkertons got him.
The Pinkertons got him.
So he got. What was the actual for the guy that he caught on fire? Ben.
He was
not for his family and all that. Like they found that afterwards.
Yeah. Okay. So they convicted him, and he was hung 5 days before his 35th birthday.
How long? Oh yeah. Okay.
It was quick. It was like 4 days or something.
That's how they do, man. We talk about that all the time.
But there is he kind of fed on. I mean, on the attention, I think once they got him, but that's what they're saying. There's some of these discrepancies is like he would admit to things, and then things that they knew he did, he would deny.
Wow. And
they didn't know, like they couldn't figure out like why the fuck this guy was doing this.
You're getting hung, dude. Just spill the fucking beans.
So like there was 2 sisters that disappeared at the same time that were residents of the hotel. And he said that one of the sisters had killed the other one, and then he had helped her get out of the country. Well, I'm pretty sure they found both the bodies in the basement. And so they're like, there were certain things where they're like, dude, like, what the fuck are you doing? So he essentially, his MO was really insurance fraud. Like, he was definitely would supposedly get like widows or something like that who would stay in his hotel and get them to kind of sign over the fucking insurance policy to him, and then he would fucking kill
so
him.
The whole probably police run around and admitting to this and denying that and all that, it was just his last like hurrah. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I think he was probably trying to confuse the situation so that they had to keep the trial going.
Maybe to postpone the inevitable.
What was going on, and and it was just one of those things. So I don't really like this, but here we go. So there's one of his great grandkids is where we get the Jack the Ripper angle.
Huh.
And there's a History Channel episode dedicated to H.H. Holmes, where I'm just going to come out and say it. This guy, the great-great-grandson of H.H. Holmes, he is using the same tactics as the newspaper people of that time period, and basically spinning this yarn of he is the modern day, like, I'm not saying this is a good dude.
Right, no. Yeah.
But he's dude,
he's not the monster that everybody's making him out to be, and he's not
Albert Fish. Okay? This dude killed because of opportunity, money.
Yeah.
Okay? And because of the way that he had this picture painted in the newspapers, he's saying, like, I've got this circumstantial evidence that shows that blah blah, that he was never hung, that he talked someone else into taking his place, and like all this shit, and they fucking exhumed the body, and it was him, like, in the fucking grave.
Yeah.
One of the things is
hold on, the great grandson spun this tale, and then they actually went and dug his ass up.
They dug his ass up.
Oh my god!
So the most famous quote that is attributed to H.H. Holmes is, "I was born with the devil in me.
Yeah,
I could not help the fact that I was a murderer, no more than a poet can help the inspiration to sing. I was born with the evil one, standing as my sponsor beside the bed where I was ushered into the world, and he has been with me since." That's all bullshit. He never said that.
I knew you were going to say that.
That was a newspaper. But this dude, you're trying to make a buck. I get it. like but he's playing that same, if it bleeds it leads kind of thing.
Yep.
And I mean, there's some circumstantial evidence that he tries to. I'm not going to go into it because I'm not giving this dude any more media.
No, yeah.
But it all right. If it bleeds, it leads. This was a good story for newspapers to be sold on, to incite fear. It was the next Billy the Kid. It was the next Jesse James. It was
Jack the Ripper.
The Ripper. Like,
wow.
And while they were in the same time period, no one can place him in London in 1888. And you have to at least look at the fact that there's a high amount of skill in the surgical dismemberment of the women in the Whitechapel area from Jack the Ripper. Yeah. And this dude was much more, like, I mean, he set a guy on fire. Like, this dude wasn't
clumsy. That wasn't his area of expertise, right?
Right. I mean, he did kill women. Like, I'm not saying he didn't.
No, he's a horrible human being. Yeah, was.
But he also killed men, whereas Jack the Ripper just focused on women.
Only women, right.
And this dude killed children. Like, this dude, like, I mean, but he I will say this. He seemed like, instead of dealing with responsibility, he just killed people.
Just offed them.
He was like,
I need you out of my way.
This looks like a pain in the ass. Fuck you. I'm just going to murder you and put you in the basement.
So, okay. First of all, I love that you went at it like this, because I have heard, tons of podcasts, tons of documentaries I've watched, all these little YouTube videos. You've just seen, if you ever have an interest a little bit in true crime or serial killer or anything, dude, Holmes is one of the biggest heavy hitters that you mentioned, and no one ever goes, fuck him, he's a joke.
Well,
I mean, so you didn't go, yes, the stories are fucking ridiculous that how they portray him as, and I hate to say it, but almost like a badass or whatever.
Yeah.
Where truthfully, like he was
mastermind.
He's a horrible human being. Okay, and that's fair.
Agreeably.
We're not saying that he's anything other than that. But why all the hype?
He's
the
not
dude
the
doesn't
boogeyman.
deserve
He's not the fucking boogeyman.
No, right. He doesn't.
Fish is way worse.
Oh, dude.
The Ripper crew,
that's
way
the fucking,
worse.
Those are the boogeymen, right?
Yeah, like
Holmes does not deserve the hype.
No.
And I'd never heard about the great whatever grandson,
Yeah.
And, dude, that's fucking crazy to me. So I love that you went at him like that.
Yeah.
Because I haven't heard anybody take that approach to it.
Yeah. No, I mean, this dude, he's one of our heaviest requested.
Yeah, which I'm glad.
Killers. Yeah, no, honestly, if you really look at our dynamic as a podcast based on true events, this is the story. And all right, here's what I found.
And this is what we think, right?
This is what I think. And I think that he did kill a fairly large. I would say he probably killed more than 9. But I don't think it was anything more than your Dr. Satan or your
Princess
Hell's Bell.
Right.
Hell's Bell.
Or the giggling nanny.
Yeah,
or insurance.
It's insurance fraud, man.
Con artists. Yeah. Wow. So Holmes does kind of fit the FBI, the first thing you said, the actual the description. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of that was spread out over time, right? Like his kills.
Yeah, it was years.
So it's still fair to possibly say that he could have been the first American serial killer, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So that stands. So that's fair.
No, he's definitely a serial killer. But I think this is where we've kind of run into. Basically, I think it's a language barrier, like a definitional barrier between serial killer and mass murderer. A lot of the ones that we've covered, like your giggling nanny and Dr. Satan, those they're opportunistic killers for money.
Right.
Where in my mind, I guess maybe it's the stigma of like your Hannibal Lecters or who kill for the thrill.
They enjoy the actual aspect.
They enjoy the murder
right.
or the ritual of the killing.
Right. So but that's why I said based on the FBI description.
On the FBI description,
they're all
he is
serial killers.
Then they're all serial killers.
Right. I don't feel. I feel like you do.
Yeah, I feel like there's a different grade. Like, I mean, not that it's better that they're killing for money.
You're a better serial killer.
That's not what I'm saying.
You're one of the good ones.
I think it's like fucking scarier to me. Somebody who's killing because the devil told me to kill people.
Well, yeah,
like your Sons of Sam, your Zodiac killers, those.
Oh, yeah, man.
But like if you're just killing for money, like dude,
you're just a horrible human being.
Like what the fuck?
With no limits or no, wow.
So I mean, it is what it is. Like, but there, I mean, hats off. I mean, it does make you kind of like look at where we are now today with insurance policy,
right?
As to how we got there, like why there's so much like
why there's so many hoops to jump through.
Like why you got to do all this shit, like it's because dude, fucking 100 years of people fucking the insurance companies out of fucking shit.
Oh, dude, that's a really good point actually.
Yeah. So
right, I'll take it easy on him next time I fucking start bitching about.
I don't know if I'm going to say that, but
it's still awful.
But this story. I think I was kind of hesitant to bring it this way, just because this guy. I mean,
dude, he's so well known.
He is the boogeyman. Like to a lot of people, he is. I mean, they want to believe that fucking murder castle thing, and I mean, he definitely killed people in there, but it was really more like so many things about it were misrepresented.
Right.
or the way that it kind of came about were like messed up.
Yeah.
You know, like,
well, the dark side of me that enjoys the boogeyman and the really gory details and all the scary shit, because it's that whole shock and awe thing that I, whatever. He doesn't have that.
not once you kind of realize, like,
no, right.
Oh,
the murder castle, like that, and all the gas chamber room. That shit sounds fucking.
He killed kids.
Horrifying.
Like that's.
No, fair enough.
That's horrible enough. Like you guys could have left it with that. Like he killed kids. He did it for money. That he's a terrible human.
Horrible human. Yeah.
You don't have to make him worse than.
Don't glorify him. Yeah. He didn't deserve the hype.
Yeah. So
fuck him.
I mean, he was bad enough on his own. He doesn't need anything else attributed to him.
Shitty ass.
Hundreds of bodies exhumed from the basement
of the murder castle.
Could he be Jack the Ripper?
That's really good,
dude. Go fuck yourself. You're trying to sell a fucking t-shirt, bro.
The sad thing is he fucking sold a shit ton of t-shirts.
Oh yeah, man.
A ton of t-shirts.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, this guy was in it for insurance fraud. He probably did kill more than 9 people. He probably stretched it out over 3 to 5 states.
Right.
Children and women were definitely not off of his menu. But I would say a strong 60 to 70% of the stuff that gets attributed to this dude is all just fabrication and bullshit.
Fabrication. Wow. And people get so hyped about him, dude. Like, that's crazy. Wow.
Yeah, bro.
Something a little bit off the topic. So after I did Fish, and it really fucked with
Fish
me.
hurt, man. Fish was rough, man.
But like I forget why. I guess maybe just because of search history or something, but it popped up, and there's like a fucking, I don't know where they're from, so I won't even try to say, but like a band called like Albert Fish, and they wear his fucking t-shirt. Like, I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, why would you glorify that? Fucking monster. I mean, Holmes is the same thing. You've got fans, people getting tattoos of these serial killers.
Yeah.
Like, fucking, they're hype men and shit. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I enjoy reading about fucked up shit, but I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
We're glad they're dead.
No, and I will actually say that some of I'm glad I didn't pull Fish out of the hat like you did. But I will say that some of this research that we've done over the course of this podcast is it has made me realize I already kind of knew like what the media was when it came to, if it bleeds, it leads. They're really more out there to get you to watch the show than they are about informing you of actual details.
Yeah, right.
But doing
they Hollywood it up, man.
Well, doing some of this research, man, it's kind of like kind of debunking a lot of the mystique of Holmes. Not saying that he's a better dude after reading all this, but
no,
but he's definitely not like the devil incarnate. I mean, he's horrible.
Yeah, right.
But hundreds and hundreds of bodies attributed to a guy who's just, I mean, it takes him down a peg, I guess, to know that 100%. He's an insurance fraud or 100%. A lazy fuck.
It did for me big time. When you started going into it, I'm going, holy fuck. Yeah. This guy's a joke.
So,
I mean, not a joke. Like, he's still, dude, if you kill a child, 1 or 10, I don't give a fuck. Yeah. You're a monster. I mean, you're a horrible human, but.
And you deserve to be hung.
Yeah. Glad you're dead. But I don't think, like, honestly, this makes me go, okay, cool. I will never want to talk about this dude ever again. Like, if somebody goes, well, what's the most wicked serial killer? You're off the fucking list, dude. You shouldn't even be top 10. Like, you're fucking, why are people so hyped about you? Like, this is stupid.
Because he's the first.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we've kind of reviewed a few at this point.
Yeah.
And, it like the slit.
We're getting picky.
Well, no, but like the slit mouth story, you kind of get to see these things that people talk about and live in people's dreams, and you're like, oh well, we're just talking shit at the end of the day.
That's what we do, man. Yeah,
we're just talking shit at the end of the day, but
and some stories I'm glad. Like this one, I'm actually kind of glad that it is what it is. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like that he wasn't as, but some of them I'm at a loss for an example, but I gave you one, and I was super. Oh, The Will Is Weep. You gave it to me.
Yeah.
I was super excited. This
Super
was going to be a
stoked.
dank, dark place, and it was a fucking hoax. I'm like, damn it. But that's why I enjoy doing the research on shit that we don't know.
Right. For sure.
I loved that you did Holmes because you probably knew more about him than I did anyway. And I don't know if you knew that he was.
I did.
Oh, didn't you?
No, I didn't have any. Like, I didn't know where the research was going to take.
Oh, cool.
By
All
any
right.
means. I mean, I'd heard of the murder castle, obviously.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay.
I'd heard that he had hundreds of bodies attributed to him. And
So as you were researching, you're finding out this motherfucker is it's all hype and.
Like, I was gonna sit down and
Wow.
and kind of. I mean, I was gonna be a super asshole in this episode and kind of be like, no, like, just go through like bullet points of like, fuck you.
This
no,
didn't happen. This
fuck
didn't
you,
happen.
no.
This didn't happen.
Like, here are the 9 that we know he killed, and he's horrible for that. And like, let's stop with all this other bullshit. But I wanted to tell the story. Like, I wanted to do this and kind of do it from. This is what everybody thinks.
Right,
Like
right,
when
right.
you go into H.H. Holmes or you kind of have a peripheral knowledge of him, like this is what everyone thinks. And here's the reality.
And this is the reality. I liked it.
So,
No, that was yeah, dude. I did not expect. I honestly thought it was going to be everything that I had heard of. You were going to confirm.
yeah.
I thought that was how this was going to go.
Yeah.
Straight up.
So, I've had quite a few insurance fraudies.
Dude, like more than 5 or something crazy, like a lot.
Disturbingly, but I think that's
And Chicago is fucking.
yeah, man. I think
Dude.
that's going to be a B-side. What the fuck, Chicago?
What the fuck? Oh yeah, it needs to be.
Yeah.
Good call.
But
Because dude,
the one thing is, but I mean, you've done some insurance fraudies too. So
Yeah.
like, a fucking weird motivation for some serial killing is insurance fraud.
it's apparently insurance fraud. Yeah.
Yeah, so take that into account, insurance companies.
Yeah. Con artists turn killers. Wow. All right. Holmes
Holmes,
putting that sad sack of shit to bed.
yeah, Mudget. I think it also his name H.H. Holmes kind of carries this different level of creepy
Yeah.
credibility. When it could, like, if you'd gone with his real name, Mudget.
Mudget.
Last name is Mudget.
That's good.
Henry
Mudget.
Webster Mudget, I believe is his real name.
Oh, Webster Mudget.
Yeah, he had a whole bunch of different, like, monikers and different names
Right.
and shit. But the real deal was he used all of these different names. And Henry H. Holmes was one that he used quite a bit because of insurance fraud.
Yeah, so
Herman.
H.H.
Herman Webster Mudget is his real name.
Not as fucking sophisticated sounding.
Yeah, no. Yeah, he definitely and portions of it were to, like, since he I mean, I'm not going to rehash the whole story, but
Yeah.
since he studied in surgery, I guess when he didn't hack that, he came up with the moniker Dr. Henry H. Holmes.
It's Dr. Holmes.
Dr. Henry H. Holmes. So,
Oh shit!
I don't
All
know,
right.
man. Just
that was
another-
good. I
just
like the
another-
way you went.
just another piece of shit trying to get some money.
Yep, absolutely. I liked it.
Killing kids to get money, man.
Killing kids to get money.
That's what these fuckers do.
Horrible.
Yeah.
What are you doing next week?
It's a surprise.
Okay, sweet.
I have an episode. I have an episode in my pocket that I almost did tonight.
Okay, fantastic.
But I'm gonna do it next week.
All right, word.
I'm interested in it.
We'll keep them them suggestions coming. I know we've got a few in the pocket that we're gonna bring out. But we've done back-to-back suggestions, so I guess
Yeah.
you're going to bring something, an audible or just whatever. You'll bring your own shit to the table next week.
Yeah, I mean,
All right,
you've pulled a lot of audibles. So
Oh, yeah, dude. I like audibles.
I almost pulled one tonight, but I it was such a popular.
Keep me on my toes,
request.
man.
This was such a heavily requested episode.
Yeah.
and I'd already done the research on it, and I knew where I wanted to go with the episode, and
I'm glad you did it.
Yeah.
We would have had to do it at some point, so
yeah, it would.
check.
Yeah, so I just got this one off the list.
Fucking A.
All right,
All
bro.
right, man. Good shit.